Business over drinks. Business over drinks. This is Dave and Terng. This is business over drinks.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Business with Drinks. My name is Terng and I'm calling in from Singapore.
Hello. My name is David. I am calling in from Brisbane. How you doing today? I missed all of you. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, comment, whatever, on any of our social media channels because it helps us with our insecurities.
Our next guest is someone that I think we've been wanting to speak to for a while. By a while, I mean about a week, because that's the first time I spoke to her. So she's got a really interesting story, and it actually relates to law. So when you think about legal issues or lawyers, I think everyone thinks about a courtroom scene where someone's screaming at the juror or at the defendant and asking them to basically admit to committing a crime. But there's a lot of stuff that we don't actually see. So working in a startup myself and working with a lot of startups, legal is a huge issue. So with us today, we've actually got an awesome startup lawyer and entrepreneur, Rachel Wong. She's the CEO and founder of Founders Doc, which is a legal tech company that aims to serve early stage companies and startups in Southeast Asia. She's also a counsel at the law firm Eugene Turasingham LLP. I hope I got that right.
What did you just say?
Turasingham. The company is based in Singapore, and Rachel hopes to make legal resources more accessible to early stage companies in the whole of Southeast Asia. So she's pretty much at the forefront of making legal a little bit easier to understand for everyone, and is creating a great following for herself on LinkedIn, which is how I actually found out about Rachel, and I've been following her since then. So everyone, welcome Rachel to the show.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys. I was hoping for a huge applause, but yes.
Oh, no, wait, give me a second.
This is the magnificent Rachel.
Hey.
Awesome. Okay, cool. We're going to jump straight into questions pretty soon, but maybe, Dave, you want to tell us what you're drinking?
Yeah, so tonight I'm going easy. I'm having Bombay. Is it Bombay or Bombay?
Bombay, mate.
Bombay Sapphire, London Dry Gin. It's another leftover bottle from a belated birthday party I had with some friends the other night. And I have to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's strong, but I have to finish the bottle. So there you have it.
Oh, lovely. So I'm drinking a Crossroads Brewing Company Steam Ale. These are sessionable beers that you can drink a lot of at a time. As I think I mentioned before, I'm not a massive fan of beer, but I really love the Crossroads Brewing Company, and they do amazing beers. They're based in Singapore, by the way. Rachel, what about yourself?
I'm drinking Martell VSOP with a tinge of Coke Zero. So
wow. Okay, I did not know that, and wow.
It's my go-to drink.
There we go. Rachel,
is that the one they drink in KTVs and stuff?
You're probably right. If you see me walking around with a coffee mug, high chance I have that in a cup. So yeah, I drink that a lot.
I actually like it.
It is very sweet and nice.
Wow, you guys. Wow. Okay, cool. Now, I really wasn't expecting the Martell, but that's a lot of respect. And yes, they drink that almost exclusively, that and VSOP and Hennessy at a lot of the KTVs. Not that I've ever been to them before, so I don't know.
Yeah, what is KTV, right? I don't know what you're talking about.
This is what I've chanced upon in the forums that I never visit. These people in my newsfeed. Yeah. But lawyers go hard though. Like every lawyer I know, they go hard. Like we're just talking about alcohol, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really intense.
The kind of stress you guys give us, we cannot exist without alcohol. So that is why we have alcohol in our lives.
Oh, that's true. I mean, that's why we pay lawyers so much so they can drink.
Yeah, because we give you so much stress.
Exactly.
All the money we give you.
I have to go to yoga and alcohol, the complete package just to survive.
Your life doesn't sound that hard, but all right, let's not go down that path. This is just going to be a really angry podcast with give us our money back. So anyway, why don't I kickstart this, right? So, I mean, one of the questions, the very first question I had when I actually saw that you're still working at the law firm is you got a pretty good thing going in the law career, right? Most lawyers aren't really broke, right? So why did you choose entrepreneurship as well?
It was fun. It is fun. to be honest, it was just an age game. So as a female, I'm 30 this year. And my mom was like, hey, if you don't do it now, you're not going to have the energy to do it. You're going to regret for the rest of your life. So she was like, this is the time to do it. If you want to do it now. You have the energy to come through. And startup life, as you guys will know, is very stressful. So I'm very happy that I did it.
Well, hold on.
And then the other part is, I just didn't find, I enjoyed working with big corporations, but there was just much more satisfaction working with founders, which are typically seen as the underdogs. So, that was like a calling for me, I think. Yeah. So everything just fell into place very naturally.
Hold on. So I've got a question there. So you said your mom was really supportive and like she kind of pushed you, like maybe not pushed you, but like gave you encouragement to start.
Yeah.
Like that's the opposite of like 99% of Asian moms or Asian parents in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I did like brainwash my mom a little bit, but yes, I convinced her to think that this is the better path.
So our last guest, Simon Chap had an interesting thing. He said Asian kids of immigrant Asian parents, primarily, or Asian parents in general, have 4 options. They can either be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or disappointment. So I think you were one of the non-disappointments, and then your parents were just like, you be an entrepreneur, it's okay. Wow.
Yeah, I think for women there's one more option called tie. So
not yet. No, see, we don't see gender on business over drinks. No, we do actually.
What's tie?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole different podcast altogether. But basically, English wags.
So I think you're using 2 big words for David. Rachel.
Yeah, English.
Okay, housewives that don't have to do housework. Housewives that don't have to do houseworks. But yeah, I think obviously, okay, the contrary to what you think, I am actually the black sheep in my family because all my sisters are doctors. So when I chose to become a lawyer, that came as a shock to everyone. And some people were very against me studying law, but I did this and I enjoyed it. And when I first started working in big corporations, my parents were of course saying, this is a great job, you have great opportunities, you should treasure them. But I was just telling my mom like all the different things which I thought could be done. And I think ultimately after 5 years of me nagging at her, she was just sold by the fact that I should just start my own business. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think if you're a parent and all your kids, you're an Asian parent, all your kids are doctors and the last one is a lawyer, you're probably pretty proud of yourself. I would just be bragging about that to every single person.
You'd be surprised. But yeah, I'm sure they're happy overall. But yeah, I was kind of like the black sheep of the family. So,
Is your mom in business, or is your your parents in business, or?
They're in finance, so they're they're very good at counting the dollars and the cents. Money goes on threes.
Yeah.
This just
you
makes
give them
me
$1, they turn into 10. I'm in the wrong profession.
I'm in the wrong profession. What the hell am I doing?
Actually, I mean, to be honest, my first calling was probably advertising. Huge interest in advertising since I was a kid. So you guys are in the right market.
No.
The thing that I was very intrigued by was, how is it that when people look at an advertisement or a 5-second commercial, people change their minds? So that was something that's very interesting for me. And if you look at Facebook and Google, they generate revenue primarily through advertising. So advertising is actually super, profitable, and you guys are in the right space.
So there's actually, Dave, before getting this, there's actually a misconception about that, and I got to tell everyone that. The majority, I think it's about 82% of all the dollars spent on advertising goes to Facebook and Google, not to the advertisers.
Okay,
not to the guys not to the people who are working in advertising. We don't none of these guys make any money.
So the key is to be the platform.
Yeah,
easy job.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna start a Facebook. So cool.
Easy. How did the transition start? So how did you go from working as a lawyer to starting Founder Doc?
So a little clarification there is that I'm still a lawyer. And I think part of the whole style was it was very important that I at all times was still a lawyer, because there are a lot of alternative legal service providers that don't actually have a practicing certificate or are licensed to give advice, legal advice. So the first thing that I wanted to get right, sure that I can be entrepreneurial and whatnot, but at all times I want to make sure that I had the right licenses in place, because law is a regulated industry. And then to your question on, how did I really get started? It was something that came quite naturally with COVID, with me turning 30, and with all my friends starting, not all my friends, a huge proportion of my friends starting startups. It just became very natural for me to just say, hey, actually, when you guys have questions, I'll be the one who is there to answer those questions. And also, I think there wasn't a huge understanding of how startups work from lawyers. So I felt like, okay, number one, the best way to understand it is to be very close to startups. And number two, even better way of understanding it is to become a startup myself, to understand, how they really want to roll and how they really think. And that's how I approached it. So, hopefully when I deal with, the people that I deal with, I have a better understanding of how they think and all the fears that they have. Like, number one thing that a solo founder would feel when they first start a business would be loneliness, a lot of fatigue, a lot of like insecurity. So been through that journey, and
that's pretty much every day. That's even 5 years in.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that kind of like tones down a little bit after a while. But yeah, before I launched my company, I was really nervous because I wasn't sure how people would respond to it, whether there's anyone responding to it. I was a bit lucky that they did. And then after a while, it kind of died down as well. So at first, when I first announced that I was going to start Founders Talk, there was a lot of traction, and then it died down. And I was just like, shit, did I make the wrong decision in life? Kind of shit my pants, but it was okay because I knew that I gave myself this. I did it from a very logical perspective. So I said that, okay, I'm going to give myself 6 months to see whether I have traction, and if within those 6 months I don't get any traction, then I'm going to be sensible and become a tai, or go back to the career world.
I'm glad you have that option.
Tai is a joke. Tai is a joke. It's not an option for me. No guy would want a girl that talks so much. So yeah.
I mean, we'll see. There's I think there's a definite market for tai in Singapore, at least from what I've seen. This is very interesting to me because technically my company is a startup, but primarily we work with startups. So we service a lot of startups, right? From a legal standpoint, right? What do you think a lot of startups are doing wrong?
I don't think startups are doing anything wrong in particular. I mean, you guys are right. Legal is quite expensive. So generally speaking, I feel like they but I tend to think that legal is only relevant when they've either sort of like proved their MVPs right, or gains significant traction, either because of the profile that they have, like very strong unicorn GM kind of profile, and they're starting a company and they're growing very fast, or if they are just revenue generating in a huge way from sort of like year one onwards, then you get legal involved. So legal is really a tool to minimize risk. But the number one thing that I see happening even before you prove that your MVP is right is co-founder disputes. So that actually happens quite often, more than we sort of like would like to have. So I think maybe the one of the first few documents you might want to get before you spend more on legal is the co-founder agreement in some sense. And then, I mean, even for us, right, like our terms of and condition, our like letter of engagement, these were things that we sort of like amended as we went along, because these legal documents are only a reflection of what your business risks are, and you don't really know it until you get your business model right. So legal can come in when you hit your 500th customer, depending on what kind of business you are in, and then it's really there to mitigate your business risk. Yeah.
Unless you have co-founders, then a co-founder agreement would be pretty useful.
Yeah, I think it's quite useful because there are two main options, right? When there's a co-founder dispute and you've got a company set up. The first thing is to either wind up your company, which is going to be very costly, and the other way is to buy out your co-founder shares, and that's going to involve like if people are not aligned, it's going to involve like a someone to value the shares and getting a disputes lawyer involved. So that is a pretty expensive process.
So
Yeah.
I can actually attest to that. I had a co-founder for my business before we split ways because I mean, I don't want to get into too much detail. I think I've shared this before, but basically my co-founder didn't have the best interest of the company in mind. And I'd already invested like most of the money into it. So thankfully the agreement, he agreed to have the agreement torn up, and we had in writing that the agreement is no longer valid, because otherwise I was going to go down to his house and burn it down or something. Because otherwise he owns 50% of the business and he wasn't doing anything. So
Don't tell Rachel that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to go down his house and have a serious conversation with him about the responsibility to the company.
I was just like pulling out my criminal law days, like
with some gasoline.
Intention to destroy some property there. Yeah. I mean, and then the other thing is, I mean, if you don't get a lawyer involved from day one, or maybe even like reading up, right? Like reading up on the internet and looking at things that people publish. 50-50 is a show to kill yourself. So, try to
okay.
do like the magic numbers are 75 and 50. So either try to hit above 75 or above 50 at the very least. But 50-50 is like perfect for deadlock situations. And you can't move forward, you can't move backward. Even if your business is doing very well, you'll be stuck. So I don't highly recommend that. Yeah.
So you mean 50-50 in terms of
shareholding?
Yeah. So my ex-business partners and I, one of the first things we invested in was the shareholder agreement, because a lot of people did advise us to do it. Because you have to ask a lot of questions, right? Like what happens if one of your partners gets married? Or what happens if some other person dies? What happens if someone takes a bit of money? What are the disciplinary actions if something happens? So yeah, we had to ask a lot of tough questions at the start, but it really helped us out going forward.
I think also from a mental perspective, we've had cases whereby we prepared the co-founder agreement and then the other co-founders sort of like dropped out of the picture. So they are afraid of signing something when it's put in pen and paper. So it's a very good of like, finding out the bluff.
Yeah, it's kind of a barometer for, I think, genuine partnerships, I think, in that sense.
That's one of the top things that come to us actually. And sometimes we're in a position to solve it. Sometimes we're not in a position to solve it simply because the quantum doesn't make sense. And the person's just better off just starting a new company and just, going from scratch.
Well, this is why I don't trust people, man. Like no one wants to sign an agreement.
Once you guys agree on the terms, just DocuSign it. If the person's not going to DocuSign it within the next 1 to 2 or 3 days, the person is not,
Also, it depends on your terms. I get 90% of the company.
You have to work 7 days a week, 23 hours. You get 1 hour sleep.
But 90-10 is a pretty good number to start with. I wouldn't recommend 50-50. It's just like, you're not going to get anywhere. Who's the real boss? It's only going to be one.
If you're equal, like let's say Terng and I start a business, what would he even agree to being 49, me being 51? Like how would
because I think you have to come to an agreement on who gets to make the decision, right? Because otherwise it's going to be deadlocked. Yeah. So you have to be in agreement on that one.
That's gonna be a tough conversation.
Yeah, no, because Dave and I will fight all the time because he has these very different views on certain things, especially with the podcast and like.
Hey, look at the drinks he's drinking.
Yeah, just like he's drinking like really trashy drinks.
It always ends up with Terng crying. Yeah, shush, lawyer. Just a quick ad break, everyone. Everyone loves books, right? And if you don't love books, you ought to be deported. So now, thanks to Audible, you can listen to an audiobook absolutely free. Who doesn't like free stuff? All you have to do to claim your free audiobook is go to businessoverdrinks.com/books.
All right. So just going back to the free book from Audible. So in this page, we've actually compiled a bunch of some of our favorite books and audiobooks that have kind of shaped our lives for better or worse. That's why Audible is my favorite thing, because I can't read. I'm basically illiterate. We're also
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no,
there is, but it's
there's
a problem
100%
we need to
stuff
solve.
wrong with that. There's a real lot of stuff wrong with that, man. We'll be including some of the books that guests have recommended as well, because we have some really great guests who actually read stuff that added value to their lives versus the stuff that we read, which just lets us pass time and helps us forget about the sadness that is our lives.
To see these audiobook recommendations, and we've included some physical book recommendations in there too, is go to businessoverdrinks.com/books. Yeah, so the legal space, a founder's doc, you see a lot of, there's a lot of competition in the legal space, you know, even just as a lawyer, but especially as a legal type of business.
Yeah.
What are you doing to stand out? I think this could be useful for a lot of people who are entering businesses or starting businesses in competitive spaces. You know, what are you doing to differentiate yourself?
It's actually a really good question. I was reading for this, you know, about making ideas stick and messages stick. So I think if you just do whatever people do, you don't really stand out, right? But if you do something different, then, you know, people remember you. So one of the things that people remember me for, rightly or wrongly so, TikTok videos, I don't publish them very often.
What's your TikTok, by the way?
Founders Doc, right? So,
okay, yep.
And, you know, it's just being innovative and creative in the way you message. It's marketing, basically, right? Content marketing. So to differentiate yourself, I think number one, obviously, is, you know, you got to stand out. So if every other lawyer is publishing, you know, 2,000 word articles, then don't do that. Do something else. That's what I think it is. Number two, in order to allow your clients to stick and retain them, you probably just have to be a pretty good lawyer. And then I wouldn't say that I'm the most standoutish lawyer at the moment. You know, hopefully I'll be there one day, but I do think that I have created some sort of like a startup law synergy going on. So hopefully that continues to grow. Or even little things, right? Like most lawyers will appear on a podcast or a call with, you know, black and white suit, but my clients wear hoodies. So, you know, I purposely try to with them by buying hoodies, even though it's not my natural calling, just to look more like a startup person. So
a hoodie in Singapore?
A hoodie in Singapore, yes, you know. What else do I do for that? Yeah. So, you know, like try to look more startup style, buy sneakers, because people want to talk to people that look like them, right? So that's what I try to do. Most of my startups range between pre-seed and Series C. So if you're raising between 1 million to 10 million, you're probably someone that I deal with.
I better start wearing a hoodie then.
Yeah, I mean, that's in like the Facebook guy wear hoodies too. That this is the rich people outfit these days. You know, if you're not wearing hoodies and slippers, you're not making in life. So
well, I've been advised not to wear the slippers, but actually I used to, like, I worked in agency, so PR agency and content agency, so we were quite formal. Then I naturally became very casual in my dress, not because I was trying to mimic the startup thing, because I'm just more comfortable, just getting really casual.
Got it.
So there was the transition wasn't even planned. I just did it. Like this is the most formal I get, which is like a Nehru collar or grandfather collar type shirt.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the max I'll go. And that's all, the reason I'm wearing this is because I just came back from a meeting.
Nice.
But that's the max I'll go. Others is t-shirt. Dave, I know, wears wife beaters and like shorts.
I'm just in my underwear right now. But before Terng asks his next question, I really love what you said about being different and not sticking to a formula of what other people are doing. We had a guest on, Dundee Kim. So he owns a franchise, a boxing gym franchise. And I've known him for about 10 years now. And his first gym was in a highly competitive area with multiple gyms, but they all died out except for his. It's hard for me to explain what he does so differently, but if you just look at his Facebook or check out our interview with Dundee Kim, doesn't have the best English, just ran a lot of random photos.
With clothes on.
With clothes on.
Actually, no.
Oh, no.
Dundee takes out his shirt a lot. Dundee's in his 50s, but he's he's got the best body of a 50-year-old I've ever seen in my life. That
Yeah.
guy's ripped. Like,
He's ripped.
ripped.
He's ripped. He does amazing things. He enters bodybuilding competitions at his age. So anyone listening, check that episode out.
Yeah, we'll put it in our show notes as well. So Rachel, that's really cool. I think it's a great segue as well, because we're talking about how you have the Founders Doc TikTok, right? So we'll put your TikTok handle in the show notes as well. But I mean, this boils down to actually how I found out about you as well, and the stuff I saw. I think the first time I interacted with you was just randomly. I saw a post on LinkedIn. People were liking and commenting, and because you asked a question, and I think I answered a question about video. I completely forget what it was about, but I remember it was something to do with the video, right?
Didn't stick, damn it. You know,
I can't remember what it was, but it's something about video, right? And so you
You're just insulting her.
No. It was a really good post. The fact that, yeah, man, people engage with thousands.
I think it was a cartoon video. Like, I posted a cartoon video and asked whether people like it. People
maybe,
it.
And I hope my comment is the same as what I'm gonna say now. I still prefer personal videos where it's the actual person.
Oh yeah, I remember that comment. Yeah, and I feel very uncomfortable putting my face out there.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that's what you said.
I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put my face out there.
Yeah, no, I'm glad in some odd way that my comment made sense, and you probably didn't listen to me, but I think you just kind of followed something that I said earlier.
I listened to you. Look at my TikTok, you know, for you.
I'm glad that I've been teaching people even when they weren't aware of it. So no, but this actually ties back to what I want to talk to you about as well, because you create a lot of content for social, right? And you've been experimenting with video, right? And you said it's been really useful. But like, why? Like, first of all, when I think about law and TikTok, they kind of don't mesh, right? So why did you choose TikTok, and like what kind of spurred you to get into that, apart from my awesome comment and in response to your video?
Number one, it was just your awesome comment. But yes,
I like how Terng's just taking credit for everything. Like,
Dave, I made
your whole marketing strategy.
Dave, I made you. Dave, I made you. Okay.
She said she'll pay royalties.
Okay, guys, let's end this podcast now. Rachel, send over the contract.
A lot of money there. I mean, I experiment with a lot of different sort of like marketing content, because I'm not sure what is the right strategy at the moment. So I had infographics, which actually seem to be quite popular. I had cartoon videos, which died off after a while. I have TikTok videos, which I use selectively. And then I also have like some sort of like, I try to mimic like video streaming, and, you know, coming up, I have more content coming up as well. So yeah, I'm experimenting different things, but the whole genesis behind TikTok was I was watching a lot of TikTok because of COVID. And yeah, I was just like, I can probably do something similar and you know, superimpose it on law. And I think in the US, there are quite a number of so-called like TikTok lawyers. Like one of them is Harvard law couple or something. And they do it quite differently. They talk a lot. Right? Americans are very good at talking. I'm not so good at talking. So, you know, I just point some fingers in the air, put some captions there, and hopefully people like it. So, you know, inside of me, because I didn't do advertising and mass communications, there's this, you know, burning desire to do something creative. So I'm just hoping that TikTok is a little bit more creative. But yeah, I think TikTok videos have to be in selective doses, because too much of it will make people cringe. So
what's been the most successful in terms of the channel or the type of content that you created?
So TikTok has been the most viral, but I feel like there's a part of me that's saying that if I do too much TikTok videos, people won't take me seriously. So I kind of want to like sort of like pivot away from TikTok to you know, a little bit, and do something more, you know, like I wish I had a face like Dr. Mike, if you know who he is.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean,
we love Dr. Mike.
I love Dr. Mike, right? So I love his, you know, amazing body as well. So yeah.
We like Dr. Mike for different reasons. All right.
But yeah, I mean, I tried to do like a masterclass kind of like video, or Dr. Mike kind of video. I'm just not very good at selling the way Dr. Mike does. So I just have to figure out what's good for me and what's good for the audience. and then find that middle ground that people like. So first, TikTok is super popular. Second, I guess is infographics seem to be quite popular as well. Cartoon videos is a like dying thing, even though I was quite hopeful that would have been something that people like.
So these are infographics you put on LinkedIn or
Yeah,
other platforms
right.
as well?
So even
LinkedIn?
when I do TikTok videos, my TikTok account is not very active, but it is I use TikTok as a software. So TikTok to me is like a SaaS solution. And then I put it, on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. And one other thing that I'm experimenting with is one of my clients is doing something that is also a bit of content creation related stuff called 1B Story. So I'm also trying to figure out how I can, create videos using his solution as well.
It's fascinating for us, I think, because I mean, we're also in content creation, and a lot of my clients rely on us to do content creation as well. So it's really good to get insight from someone kind of on the ground.
Oh,
And kind
yeah.
of see how it works, because I mean we do content creation across the gamut, right? So we've seen different things work for different companies and different target audiences and stuff.
Yeah. And I think content creation for legal is quite trying because for medicine it's quite personal, so everyone can kind of relate to like the knee pain or something like that. But for legal it's kind of like traditionally speaking quite boring. So how do I get a bit more less sleepy, right? So yeah. But there's a huge trend going on, like potato. Yeah, the potato trend. I really want to do it, but it's like too much.
Oh God, I feel so old right
What's
now.
the potato trend?
It's a bit complicated, but it's super cute. So you have to go to Snapchat, get the potato filter, and then upload it on TikTok or something. And then the potato videos get me so much. Like it's so cute and adorable. Basically, everything looks like a TikTok, and all you see is the eyes and the mouth, and it's just so cute.
Have I not? I just keep seeing weird stuff on TikTok. I don't know. Maybe it's because of I don't know. I don't want to.
It's because of what you like. It's because of what you like.
Yes. We'll change the subject really quickly.
I already know what Dave sees on TikTok. It's not PG-13, everyone. It's not PG-13.
The only things I like people law, like my law is more for corporations. So, it's kind of, I mean, maybe one day I'll figure it out. So yeah, it's just like, when I wake up, I get inspiration. I actually do not know how content creators do it because every day they come up with a different idea. So
actually, so I've got a follow-up thing on that, right? Because I think, so we work with B2B companies, right? And I think everyone thinks content for B2B is different from content from B2C. I think there's a range, and probably the bottom half of the range B2B cannot do because it's just too weird. But I think even for B2B, right, the end consumer of the content is a person, and they want to have the information they need, and they are completely fine if that information is given to them in an understandable manner. Probably they don't want to have something that's really messed up like Dave watches all the time. But because we've been trying to get a lot of brands that we work with. So we do some video for brands and we do a bunch of other stuff. We write content and everything, and everyone's like, you have to be really stuffy and formal, and they're always asking us, how come we're not getting a lot of clients through this, or how come no one's reading our stuff? And I'm like, have you read your stuff? It's the most boring shit I've ever read in my life, right? You're telling us it's boring, but you won't change it. So then what we would do is we would have to basically redo their entire content, not even a strategy, because it's never mind the strategy, is literally their content style and the tone that they want to do as a brand. And these are companies that have been around for like 5-10 years sometimes.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you guys don't have an identity. You have a really boring identity. So I think that's kind of changing now, especially because I mean people are making like when would you have imagined a doctor going on a platform like TikTok to talk about healthcare?
Dr. Mike. There we go.
Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike became really popular on social media, right? So his Facebook was his
because he's just really good looking, and he's
that's primarily it. I mean, let's be honest, that's primarily it. But he also does interesting content where he actually talks about relatable stuff, but from a medical context. My first thing I saw him was he was reviewing Scrubs, which is one of my favorite comedies.
I just stare at his face, to be honest. Yeah.
So I feel like I feel like the two other people on this podcast right now aren't taking content seriously. They're just like, oh, the guy's so good looking. Dave's saying the exact same thing about.
I want to see what's in Rachel's feed. Like I'd see really weird stuff. Rachel might see some. It's a bunch of really
a lot of like Kardashian stuff actually. They've start like seeping them out because you're not content that I can, replicate.
Oh my God.
But
I'm
I
so
think
glad I'm not that.
we should probably veer off TikTok soon. But yeah, I think you have a lot of potential with your audience because you startups, right? There's a lot of young people in startups. I think there's a lot of relevant stuff you can do for them.
A lot of, yeah, like yeah, that's absolutely right. We're still experimenting, and then yeah, the other one that was quite popular was the Monopoly, but I think it's dying down as well. So what we did, so during one of the webinars that we had, someone asked like, hey, what are the legal documents that startups should prepare for? I was just like, hey, why don't I just sort of like do an infographic or something, relatable with the journey of startup documents based on what I've seen so far. And I think the founders dot monopoly thing has been quite successful, but I think people are kind of getting sick of seeing the monopoly already, so I've got to start coming up with a new idea.
Yeah, it's all about keeping it fresh, I think.
Yeah, correct.
We'll put a link to Rachel's LinkedIn. I've seen some of those videos. They're pretty innovative. So check it out. We'll put them in the show notes, businessoverdrinks.com.
Sweet stuff. Drink more. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for that advice.
I think these are legal disclaimers that we usually give anyway. So yeah, Dave, you got a question for Rachel, man?
Yeah. So speaking of your LinkedIn, it says you were an actress for 9 months.
Yeah, 9 months. Nobody wanted me. I'm just kidding.
Tell us more about that. That's crazy.
So I kind of like always enjoyed speech and drama since I was a kid, but I was also like a nerd as a kid, so I didn't really explore that. But I think one of my friends was going for an audition, and I just followed her. And I remember the audition. The person said it was for MediaCorp, right? So they were like, can you pretend that you're being raped, right? So
God,
man, like ay. Sorry, that wasn't what I did, but yeah, it was good enough for me to get in the sort of like directory, and they started asking me back for like little roles. And then just before I flew off to London for university, they were like, hey, would you like to sign on with one of the agencies? I was just like, oh, my mom was like, nah, you gotta go study. So end of my career. Funny enough, one of my clients is a company that's quite prominent in the media industry, and I actually applied to them when I was quite young, and they didn't respond. But now they're my clients, so yeah.
Do you just purposely like hate them and just mix tiny loopholes, put tiny loopholes in their contracts? You don't have to answer if that's true.
No. I just guilt trip them. I'm like, I wrote to you guys and you guys didn't reply to me. Yeah, so they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, but you're not good enough for us. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but it's just so yeah. Acting is fun, but if you don't act often, you lose touch with that, and then I just try to be creative still, right, with all the marketing content. To be fair, the truth is 7 years in law, corporate law, kills your creative spirit, because all you're told to do is conform. So I think that I need some time to relive all these creative elements that I've lost. Really fun. Yeah.
This feels like a PSA against joining the law industry sometimes, right? From some of the things you've been saying.
I mean, legal is very fun. It's just that when I first started training, it was a huge like cultural shock for me, because I mean, whatever you hear about it is more or less kind of true. People have very good intentions, but the learning curve is so steep, and you just have to like really pull in the really long hours and learn things really quickly in a very harsh manner. And I'm glad I did it, right? It gives me a rice bowl today, but at the same time, I think that hopefully there are ways we can innovate and create a better culture. Yeah,
that's fair enough. I think it's quite interesting actually, looking at how industries are changing now. The pandemic kind of rushed this through because people suddenly started quitting. The great resignation is going on right now. People are quitting left, right, and center everywhere around the world. So
yeah,
I mean, it's coming. There's change coming for sure. And I think
it's really a personality thing. For someone who is like quite crazy like myself, like getting me, into this like very fixed role doesn't work. For me, I want to challenge myself constantly.
Mhm.
But if people like, the whole like very strict format, then law firms work, wonders for you.
Oh, no, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Can we take a slight step back, because actually I really want to ask this question, and feel free to either not answer or give us vague responses, right? But
I
one of
choose
our
not to answer. I'm just kidding.
no, that's we get that on off, then we cut it out and then we just splice some random answer together. So one of our previous guests, right, Lisa Tay, actually, so she just does a lot of content. She works in marketing, content, and advertising. So she said that she's been inappropriately propositioned on LinkedIn, which is the most random thing ever. Like, LinkedIn is where people try to sell me stuff, and then want to have coffee so they can try and sell me stuff, right?
Yeah.
So have you had any like horrible or even any fun interactions that happen on the platform? Because you're quite active there, right?
I'm too ugly for such conversations. So
Okay,
I think people just
bullshit.
okay, true question for females. I mean, I think I've got young female lawyers calling me up before saying like, how do you deal with this? Because it is a very real thing in the corporate world, or even on Facebook and LinkedIn. But to be fair, it kind of plays both ways, because my friends who are successful male creatures say that they get, some random young thing, female thing, ping them on LinkedIn and Facebook. So it plays both ways. And yeah, just be smart about
Oh, I must be really unattractive.
Oh, just no, really not successful, mate. I think that's the main
I have
thing.
never gotten anything like that. I tell you, like, hey, we have a new course. Do you want to sign up? They're the only things I get on LinkedIn.
on
Man.
LinkedIn sends you a message.
Okay,
Do you want to
yeah,
sign
okay,
up for the
so
LinkedIn?
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly.
You know what LinkedIn is doing for you? They're probably filtering all these bad messages away from you, right? So
That's what. Oh, that's really good. Thanks for that. Yeah. Okay, that must be it.
Yeah.
It's not true, Dave. It's not true. It's not
Yeah,
true.
but to your question, because even when I onboard clients, there's a sieving criteria, so I try to sieve out all the perverts. Yeah.
So again, no names unless you want to, please do if you can. But like,
Yes.
it's super interesting. I work in a female dominated industry, right? So my entire career, every company I went to had like a 10:1 ratio when it came to women versus men. Right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't be a pervert in the company because you just get beaten up, or like you just have too much option and you just quit.
Yeah.
Right. So
Even when you walk down the street for women, right, you also sometimes have like weird, like, people calling you names. When I was
catcalling, basically catcalling.
yeah. Or when I was in London, it happened much more often. And then you just be like, smart about things and don't interact. So I mean, if you don't respond to people, then people will not respond back. They'll get the message eventually. What's the weirdest thing that happened to me? I don't know, like so many weird things happen all the time. I hear rumors about myself which aren't true. I get sort of like very weird messages asking me, hey, do you want me to fly you to this country? As if I cannot afford my own plane ticket. And you just ignore them. So, I mean, it is their loss, in my opinion, because if I lose respect for you, I will no longer service you as a client, nor be your friend. And then you lose a great resource in your life. So yeah, but generally speaking, keep them at arm's length.
Yeah, Terng gets propositioned like that all the time, right? Just
No,
women
I
asking
no, I
him to
don't, man.
fly.
But if I did get proposition, women offered to fly me out somewhere, I'd be like, sure thing. Here's my
You don't have to be
passport
good
number.
looking.
Get
You
me
don't
a
have to be good
ticket.
looking. Yeah, I've heard of so many females who are not that good looking who get propositioned all the time. It's just,
No,
but-
one of my proudest moments in life, and don't tell my folks, is I was in a bar once and this girl bought me a drink. I'd never
I
met her
knew
in
you
my
were gonna
life.
say that.
Bought me a drink. It was the
I'll buy
proudest
you
moment
a
of my
drink
life.
next time.
It was the proudest I've ever been in my life. No, I never met her before. I never spoke to her. She said, let me buy you a drink. And I said, thank you, miss.
Okay,
And I drank that drink, smiled at her and walked away because I was really drunk. So I probably didn't end it well, but it was a great experience.
And you got a free drink.
Yeah, I basically I told everyone. Just like, I got a free drink, guys.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is also I'm kind of fierce. So I think guys get a bit scared to do weird things with me as well. So that really helps.
Okay, I mean
Yes.
that's
So
sorry,
yeah,
David.
Lisa, someone on LinkedIn said he wanted to lick her feet or something like that. And there was another one we had to cut out. It was a bit more extreme than that, but
Oh, no one
yeah.
says that to me.
Yeah.
I mean the for LinkedIn per se, not Facebook. Uh, I just get like requests from people to meet me for coffee, and generally speaking, if I don't feel comfortable, I'll be like and do a Zoom. And if within the first 5 minutes, I feel like that person is just trying to have a chat with me rather than being serious, I mean, I'm genuinely quite busy sometimes, so I'll just be like, yeah, let's drop me an email after this, and we can continue the conversation. Um, but because I'm kind of fierce, so I don't really get people asking me whether I want to lick their feet or have my feet licked. But yes,
I think it's usually the other way. They're licking your feet.
okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, it's okay. I'll put a bit more, fungus over there, make sure you
Oh,
get some nutrients, some algae. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so luckily for me, not so much yet. Yeah.
yeah, you're probably not gonna get many propositions after this video comes out.
I will be glad not to have these propositions. It kind of pisses me
Well,
off.
I'm assuming, right? So say this works really well and no one proposition anymore, you'd be like, hey, what happened? Guys,
Oh.
just message a pervert on LinkedIn. Like, excuse me, where's my weekly creepy message?
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, when
not
it
cool.
does happen to women, it just makes them feel very cheap. Yeah, and I'll just be like, go, and and then I'll call my mom and complain. So yeah.
No, I mean, no, that's fair enough, to be honest. I mean, it's a little bit difficult for us, I think, to quite understand that, because I mean, as Dave and I mentioned, we never get proposition for anything ever, which is, and
You know what? After this thing, I'll just like message again.
of course, I'm gonna count that as a win, even though you said it, you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna count it as a win.
I'll screenshot, send it to my mom, and complain about it.
Like,
Thanks for that.
God damn it, mom. Okay, so many of these messages nowadays.
Yeah.
But you'll be smiling the whole time, Dave. You're complaining to your mom. You're like, oh shit.
No, I think for men and women it's different. Like if a man told his mom that, the mom be like, "Hey, my son is such a baller," all the girls like him.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I think my mom would say, "Who's these girls? Don't talk to them." I'm like, all right.
Yeah. And yeah, I think a part of me feels very male-like, so I think guys get intimidated, so they don't intend to do anything weird with me. So, yeah, that problem is not such a big thing for me.
Okay, I mean, that's good, I guess.
I'll send them a letter of demand if they proposition me. Letter of demand to take down that message.
I think most people DM private messages, so they're like, all right, just delete it. But not that I would know, I've never sent creepy messages to anyone other than Dave.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we
send creepy
propose
messages to me, send it to some other girl,
We proposition each other every day,
Us.
but anyway, what's I was going to really smoothly change the subject. What's the future of Founders Doc like?
Yeah.
Well, what's the plan?
We're on phase 1, which is testing the MVP, right? Two things we wanted to test out was, one, is there a demand for legal services for startups, right? Because the age-old theory is sort of like hypothesis was that startups cannot pay for legal services. The second thing we wanted to test was whether people wanted customized templates, whatever that means. So the first theory proved true. So so far we've assisted quite a number of startups since we've launched, and it's definitely a sustainable business. The second on customized templates proved wrong. So we either get not good matches when people do ask for customized templates, or it just doesn't work out. So we're actually in the midst of revamping the website to better sort of what we currently do, which is what I call a product service model. So the closest thing I could sort of like create to is to Fiverr and hiring an independent contractor and saying, hey, I would like this to be done. the person will say like, you know, for example, if I want to do a cartoon video, they'd be like, do you want black and white? How long is it going to be? Do you want voiceover? And then they quote you a fixed price for that. They will do it within 3 to 5 business days, and they get you to product. So same thing for us. We deal solely with startups, so we're quite familiar with what they want. And then we ask them specifically what they want in the documents, because every startup is different. We've done a lot of employment contracts, and every employment agreement is different. And then we produce these documents to them within 3 to 5 business days. If they need it urgently, then we get it to them in the day or the next day. So this is phase one. Phase two is what you guys kind of like talked a lot about, which is content marketing. So that's something that's still experimental. How do we stick, right? How do we make content stick? So we're still experimenting on the different sort of like ways we communicate with clients, but the whole idea is whether or not you're a client, whether or not you can afford fees, we hope that the information that we produce would help people in their startup journey. And then the third phase is something that would be pretty far down the road, but you know, if you've ever dealt with law firms or lawyers, you would know that you may or may not feel that a lot of the things can be a bit more efficient, or at least that was the thought that I had since I first started practice. So we were still exploring different technologies we can adopt, or you know, work with different people to produce either documents faster, or you know, create the kind of AI to get documents reviewed quicker. But legal tech is a very tricky game. Very smart people like Justin Khan have tried, and you know, it's difficult to get it right. So that's something I tread very carefully, because a lot of money gone into legal tech, but the solutions haven't been as sort of like easily adopted. So we want to make sure that the solutions we provide are good ones. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Terng. When you're speaking about MVP, that's minimum viable product, right?
Yeah.
How, for those who want to know more about it, how do you test something into the market? How do you test the market, and how do you say, yep, this is successful, let's continue investing in this product, this service?
Yeah. So the traditional startup model is like, I don't know, I don't know when people thought about cash burn as something sexy, but I kind of like to be a bit more self-sustainable. So to answer your second question, how do you know whether your product is, or your MVP is working? If you make lots of money and the money you make is more than the amount of money you spend, you're probably on a pretty good track, right? Obviously, it depends on the kind of technology you're building, but you always have an option to choose how much you spend on your technology. So to build an MVP, it's trying to find the easiest to test out whether there's a demand for a particular service or product. One of the very sort of like, you know, interesting guys that I've dealt with before is these guys called Heroes. So they first started a Telegram channel, which literally costs you, you know, not much money, and they basically link people who needed a task to be done with the people in the Telegram channel. Then after they, you know, had quite a bit of demand coming in and matches being created, they moved on to building an app. So similar to what they have done, what we have done is purely built a website, which costs $1,000. And then when we prove that the demand is existing, we improve on the website, and then you only spend more money as you prove at, you know, along the way, along the sort of like demand that is there. If you and the key to this is to try to test customer demand using the cheapest ways possible. So I believe Dropbox also did something pretty cheapo at the beginning as well. But that is the way I think businesses should be built. But today we live in a different era whereby people are like, you know, throw in millions of dollars to an app and then see people actually adopt it and do lots of marketing and voucher codes for that. But I'm a bit of an old lady, so I prefer doing business in a penny.
You seem like you're specifically targeting a company that was throwing vouchers and promo codes.
There's so many out there.
I think you're targeting a specific company that's going to IPO soon, and we all know.
Oh no, 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 no! I love that company, whichever company you have. I love all companies. Yeah, I mean,
I love everyone. Don't. I want your business.
everyone has a different play, right? So if you're on a very strong B2B play, then maybe that's what you need to do. You need to show that you have 3 million customers before, you know, VCs pump in more money. But, you know, I always feel like there's probably, you can be smart about things. Yeah. So, okay, the reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen quite a number of startups who throw it in like 500,000, 800,000 to an app, even before they even test out whether people like this app. And that's a huge piece of money. Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree. I think we see a lot of companies that are basically starting and they're pumping in hundreds of thousands of dollars before they've tested the market, basically.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that's going to be very tricky is if we move to our phase 3, it's going to be a bit of a cash burn because technology is always very expensive to build. But then I'm trying to be innovative about it by partnering people who build technology already and seeing whether I can apply it in a more, because what I have is I have very close contact with customers. So hopefully over time I know not exactly, but I know generally speaking, these are the trends or these are the different sort of like types of things that people ask. And my job is to basically turn legal drafting, which is an art, into a science. So I mean, just being a bit of a nerd talk over here, with legal technology, one of the things that is quite popular is contract automation, which we see a lot. But contract automation itself is it's very tedious, but it's not too difficult to build. But getting people to adopt it is a huge question. Yeah. So
that's true.
Yeah. So I think that's something that it's not an easy sort of like code to crack. So I'm still sleeping on it every day. No, I lose sleep over it. I'm just kidding. I sleep very well.
You seem to have a really good life. Yoga, beer, sleeping,
reading some books, you know, TikTok, watching TikTok, watching Dr. Mike.
Such a challenging life. I feel bad for you.
So Dave's saying that, but he's actually really angry right now. He's like, God damn it. He's just really he's jealous of every single guest we've ever had, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm jealous of most, but not all. So Rachel, actually, so that actually ties in, right? So you say you're reading books and stuff. One thing we really like to do, and because most of our listeners like to learn, right? So they learn from a lot of different people, different fields, different stages of their career, different stages of life. Like, so maybe you can tell us, like, what are the 3 biggest like life lessons you've learned, or you think that our listeners can benefit from?
Mostly important. That's a good question. The first one, which I always say is, but my mom will call it stubborn, like never accept for an answer. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people named when I wanted to do this, and people just generally do not believe in new ideas or new things. So I'm quite stubborn. So don't take no for an answer. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I don't even know what the second thing is. I just live by
So I just think it's like no one's people say no.
Yeah,
you're like,
I can't hear you. Yeah. Everything else has been driven by like passion and what I think is right. I'm Aries, so you know I'm very passion driven. Okay, if I have to choose a second point would be having a pretty good emotional support network is quite important if you are starting a startup. So for me, that's my mom, and you know, a couple of friends, and that's important because there will be good days and bad days and people who put you down and troubles that you face. So having a very good support system, it could be an activity like exercising, so that's very important. And the third thing is, for me, being practical if you have a dream. So it's not to say that you don't reach out for the stars, but if you do want to reach out for the stars, you need to be very disciplined and like figure out how you want to reach for the stars in a very logical manner. So that's something that I think could be helpful. Yeah. Not sure whether these are sort of like lessons to learn, but yeah.
No, they are. They are. I think everybody has kind of their own journey and things that work for them, right? I've always been a strong believer in that what works for someone may not work for someone else, but it's always good to know, right?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't stop you from trying it, right? Maybe I'll never take no for an answer. Someone says, "Hey, I don't want to work with you." I'm like, "No,
No.
you are working with us. Here's a contract. Here's an invoice. Give me the money now."
Actually, that's what I did to my friend's brother. He wasn't too keen to help me with certain stuff. And I was just like, no, you can help me. And then, yeah, he's helping me now. So, yeah, don't take no for an answer.
Okay, so see, that's different. That feels like bullying.
No.
Versus not taking no for an answer. That just feels like bullying. You're like, okay, so I don't care what you think, and I don't care about your opinion.
No,
You're not working for me.
someone once told me no. Someone didn't tell me. I read it in a book. No is the beginning to a yes. So you just have to figure out why someone's saying no, and then get to the yes.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. So I learned that lesson actually in martial arts. Once I injured my hand and I was punching the punching bag, and I said I can't do it anymore because I can't hit it. My hands are stuffed. And my instruction just said use your elbows. And from that, you can kind of apply that to a lot of things in life, right? Like just because one way is blocked off, there's so many other ways you can go around to do it.
I think Dave just want to mention that he did martial arts.
Yeah,
exactly. There's a flex.
Do you still have hands? Is your elbow
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm tapping with my elbow actually.
Actually starting MMA as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
Evolve.
Okay. We'll have to leave you alone.
Yeah. I'll send them a letter of demand. They even look at in my direction. I'm just kidding. Please, stare more. Yeah.
I just realized I put disclaimers on everything you say. Like, I'm joking. Don't take that seriously. Read the fine print. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm not sure if you watch Korean, but you're gonna be like Vincenzo, killing people, like a lawyer who just kills people.
I love people.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yes, sometimes I kill them. Oh yeah.
Speaking of learning, right? Are there any books you'd recommend, or books that have kind of impacted you significantly in the past few years that you'd love to share with us?
Yeah, I'm just looking at my book collection. To be honest, like I try to read a lot. I'm not sure whether I finished reading everything, but book collections. I think it really depends on what stage you are in life. So at different stages of life, like George Soros's books was appealing to me, but not anymore. I've read the biography written by Bloomberg. That was kind of interesting as well.
Okay.
By Phil Knight on Nike.
Yep, love that one.
Shoe Dog, and then the one that this one by Disney as well. The ex-CEO of Disney.
A Ride of a Lifetime.
Yeah.
Bob Iger.
The one that I quite like is that one's pretty good as well.
Harry Potter. Yes, really good.
I don't read fiction, so
What?
Yeah, I don't read
50
What?
50
50 Shades is great. You never read? Oh.
I stopped fiction at 15 because it's just not real.
But then life's also life's just hard. Like, see,
good way to escape.
Yeah. Yeah, fiction is a great way to escape. Like, yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I would say the best book to read will be the book published by you guys in future. So I'll stay tuned for that.
Dave actually has a couple of books published.
So
there we go.
So you said it's the best book. So
yeah. Put that as a you gotta put it on your as a review for your thing. Dust jacket.
But to be honest, I don't think a single book can change your life. It's just the act of constantly just having more information, learning about different things. That is what I don't think a single book can change, unless it's the Holy Bible. If you're Christian, otherwise I don't think a single book will change your life. Yeah.
Okay. Dave's gonna have a long conversation with you about
religion.
About religion and stuff. Yeah. So
I have to say, right? My mom could be listening one day. She's like, "Oh my God, you did not mention the Bible," So I'm like, just drop it in.
All right, I'm gonna put a hard stop to that because Dave's gonna go on for a long time. Put a hard stop to that.
Yeah, I'm pro religion, by the way. Anyone's listening? Okay, keep going.
No, he actually is. That's the weirdest part. Okay, Rachel, I think we're coming to the end, but I think I've just got like a couple more questions. I just want to ask you, like, so what's the biggest regret looking back on your career and life so far? I mean, you're 30. If you're turning 30, yeah? Or you're
I'm
30 already?
30 already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dave and I are both older than you, so nothing you say, like, we don't care.
I'm female, so yeah, 10 years old.
No, same thing.
You're
Dave's no, but like, what's your biggest regret?
I have
Looking
no
back at your career?
regrets.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
No.
Um,
I feel like we're going down a direction suddenly. We switch all the time. I can barely keep up.
but generally speaking, I don't like to regret. But I spent a lot of time working when I was in my 20s, and I didn't really care about friendships and relationships. So I think that would have been one regret that I had, which was, I was working like a dog all the time. I enjoyed working like a dog, but I didn't really treasure the friendships and relationships I had around me. So now when I do have like more younger people working with me, I'm like always asking about their personal life, not because I want to be nosy, but I want to make sure that I create the conditions that's conducive for them to develop good relationships with people around them. So yeah.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that's a good thing to do, actually. I think that's something that you. So, would that be your biggest regret, not really being able to maintain relationships?
Yeah, there were so many times where I'm supposed to have dinner with friends or something, and a deal comes in, I have to be like, I'm sorry, I can't go. I have people flying down from Singapore to London to visit me, and I'll tell them like, at 7 p.m. in the midst of dinner, I have to go back to the office, and obviously that doesn't sit very well with people. So now that I'm in a position where I give instructions, I also want to try to maintain the social relationships that people that work with me have, to the extent that I can, because that's important as well.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's good. Your friends must have been overjoyed to have been ditched.
I have no more friends, so my ex.
Hey, we're on the same boat here.
Hey, that's all right. Dave and I.
Yeah. We can relate to you. Yes.
That's why my best friend is my mom. Why do you think so? By default, I'm just
okay. Even for me, that's a bit sad. My best friend's a cat outside. It's a stray cat, but yeah. My best friend.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, the only reason why family is so important is because no matter how much of a bullshit you are, they're always there for you. So I cannot talk to them for months, but they'll always be there for me. So that has been really important. But yeah, I wished I spent more energy and time and just being more disciplined about maintaining good relationships around me.
I guess to close off, how can people find out more about your work? How can they follow you? Where's the best place to look?
LinkedIn is the best place.
Okay, that's Rachel Wong, everyone.
Rachel Wong on LinkedIn, guys.
You can send me what do you call it? What kind of messages you call
TikTok.
That? No, the other one.
Oh, feed requests.
No, the other one, the weird one, where I have to send you. You can send me a weird message that will get my attention as well.
Okay, everyone. So Rachel's giving you permission. Feed messages. There you go.
Just send pictures, guys. Attach pictures, as many pictures as you can. No, don't do it. Don't do it. And
then Rachel will share them with us. We need them, and we'll put them online.
I will publish it. I'll just take a screenshot and just share it with on my TikTok.
You'll get so many followers and likes. You got to do it.
So we'll put Rachel's links on businessoverdrinks.com show notes. So, and then what kind of feed pictures she likes. So find it all there.
Yeah, close your eyes.
Like clean ones, preferably clean ones that have been washed.
400 by 400 pixel, CMYK color, PNG.
All right, guys. Anyway, this has been I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. This has been a really great one with Rachel.
Yeah, definitely. So go to businessoverdrinks.com, sign up to our newsletter. You'll love it. There's just so much good stuff in the newsletter. Who doesn't love receiving frequent newsletters in their email box, right?
Best thing you've ever done. It's just basically us bragging about ourselves. And that's how we do.
Follow us on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. It's the best way for us to get great guests like Rachel and to support, what we're doing. So thank you in advance for your help. And we also have a lot of book recommendations. So you'll see Rachel's book recommendations at businessoverdrinks.com/books. Check them out too. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Everything's
love you.
Yeah. All right.
That was really weird that you said love you at the end, Dave. That was super weird.
Hey everyone, we really hope you enjoyed the episode, but before you go, don't do it. Please don't leave me. Because we have a really important announcement. The world is ending. zombies are going to take over. The vaccine that you've all heard about is actually a killer zombie vaccine. And if you've seen iRobot, if you've seen World War Z, whatever it's called, it's going to happen. But in all seriousness,
QAnon. Oh, sorry. Carry.
QAnon?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I'm stuttering. But anyway, in all seriousness, though, Liquor Loot. So Liquor Loot is an amazing company. So we're really happy to have them on board. They house alcohol subscription services, Whiskey Loot and Gin Loot. And they deliver 3 premium and hand-selected whiskey and gin tasters from around the world each month.
So guys, this isn't just your standard, hey, subscription business model where you just get 3 tasters and that's it. They're actually a platform for you to discover new gins and whiskeys, which is what I just did with my classic dry. It's really cool. The twist of lemon in there. And I've been drinking pretty much since 1 p.m.
Yeah, it's 100% true and drink responsibly. But anyway.
Right. So, like
zombie virus.
We wouldn't be a podcast with our listeners, and we wouldn't have sponsors with our listeners. So our listeners get a special offer on whiskey from Whiskey Loot. So just head over to our website, businessoverdrinks.com, and head over to our sponsorship page or even our show notes page where we'll actually put a link to Liquor Loot. Just click on that link and then check it out. You'll be able a chance to get a taste of a curated selection of hard fine scotches, single malts, and New World whiskeys, including Japanese and American ones. They're all award-winning. Most of them are award-winning, actually, so it's kind of cool. I prefer the Japanese ones personally because I think they do better whiskey than the Americans. So here we go. Head over to businessoverdrinks.com, click on our sponsorship section, and look out for Liquor Loot.
And remember, everyone, drink responsibly, don't be like Terng, and do not sue us whatsoever.
Yeah, please don't sue us.
Be responsible.
Also, Liquor Loot. All right, that's going to be stuck in your head for the rest of the day, guys. Listen. All right.